Yo, we are going to discuss Robert Beal Jr. We're going to do a scouting report, and there might be a little argument that maybe he's a better Georgia prospect than what people didn't see on the film or on tape in general or the production. So we'll definitely scout more on that. Doesn't mean he's indicated better prospect than the other guy. Just wanted to put that out there. So we're going to put it in, and we're going to start the episode of CG Ruthless, and we're going to scout Robert Beal. Hit the music.
Oh, this is CG Ruthless Sports. I will be brutally honest. Ain't nothing but being brutally honest. Coming at you with another video.
What is up, everybody? CG is back with another live stream. So, this is the episode of the 49ers draft pick, because we already made an interesting selection. So, I had to do a lot of my homework on Robert Beal Jr., and he was an interesting pick in the 173 pick. So, we're going to definitely do some homework on this kid. So, we're going to do some search. We're going to look into this guy's info, and we're going to compare the production, and then we'll compare between Nolan Smith and Trayvon Walker, actually. Yeah, I'm going to go a little deeper on this guy. So let's definitely discuss about this. There's a lot of this. Kirby Smart influenced the 49ers into taking Robert Beal in this draft, so that speaks volume. So he's 23 years old. Comes from Norcross, Georgia, weighs 249. He runs pretty interesting speed, but if you want to compare the production, that's not too far off. But let's look at the scouting report of where they had him graded, because he's already been drafted by the 49ers. We just want to go by the scouting report of what they have him as. But here's a fun fact. In 2021, he led the Georgia Bulldogs in sacks. Not Trayvon Walker, who was the number one draft pick. Not him. Robert Beal. So this is an interesting pick because he led the Georgia Bulldogs in sacks like the other previous year. So he's kind of intriguing. Never knew he led the team in sacks, actually. I never kept track of Georgia Bulldog like that, so I wouldn't know the difference. So he ran a 4.48. So his splitting's pretty quick. His production's outstanding. So the Niners got him at the 173 pick, of course. He was a 5-star recruit in Georgia for college after a standout senior year at the heck. Do not. Okay, I'm trying to get rid of this. Okay, I don't think I need to look into that because they keep doing these stupid videos. Okay, let's just do scouting report. We're gonna do some scouting report on this kid. If I don't catch on to your guys' message, I'm sorry. I'm trying to read more into the scouting report. So Robert Beal was a defensive end outside linebacker for the Georgia Bulldogs. He was highly regarded as a recruit at high school prospect, a former 5-star recruit, a top 10 ranked defensive end. It took a few seasons for Beal to receive a significant amount of snaps, but he's been a consistent part of the Bulldogs rotation. Beal's arm and length reach out stand out immediately when you're watching the tape. When used properly, Beal can assume leverage control during his one-on-one battles. Combine had his hand placement. His bull rushes effectively. Transition from speed to power well to stress offensive line balance and ability to anchor. He uses the length and hand power to soften rush angles outside and inside. His power creates effective. Beal plays with a hot motor and does not stop his pursuit of the football until the play is over. His athleticism and burst help contain and chase down mobile quarterbacks. So he definitely could slow down mobile quarterbacks for us. He works as the read defender in the zone read game and uses halfway leverage to play mesh point and stops running back's momentum. Beal has the framing traits, but his sack production has not quite lived up to expectation. His pad level can be a little high and negative effectively and is not overly equally outside of the speed to power. Beal's instinct and play diagnose skills are not advanced, but he can be a step late on plays, but which sometimes lessens his effective. Despite his overall power and direction, he does not rush with plan to defeat the blocker. He's projected as a 3-4 outside linebacker, but I think he's going to be a defensive end for us. Top reasons to buy in: his motor, power, closing bursts. Top reasons for concern: sack production, underdeveloped pass rush plan versatility. There's a lot to like about him. I don't think it's that concerning. But let's compare the production. Okay, I guess he's underperforming Georgia, but if you look at the stats, let's go with comparisons of his previous years. Let's go by his previous production. He was kind of like playing snaps, splitting reps, with other starters. So it was definitely understandable. But if he played more snaps, I think he would have been at least more effective. But he was beat out by some defenders, so it's kind of hard to question his production. So I guess he's an underachiever, but could have been used properly. This kind of reminds me more of a Drake Jackson pick because he underperformed in UFC and they weren't using him the right way. So maybe this is something we can develop. Okay. So let's look at the difference of his college production from 2018 to 2019 and 2021. So his overall best season was 2021, where he had 6.5 sacks, which led the team in sacks. Yeah, his production hasn't performed up to expectation, but he did lead the team in sacks for that national champion Bulldogs. And in the previous year, 3 sacks, I guess, whatever. I guess his production doesn't seem to get qualified, but you look at those other guys. You look at Trayvon Walker, Nolan Smith. I would think they're like a little too high on the grade, but it's probably because of the playing time, probably because of the reps. When they have a lot of snaps and a lot of reps in that situation, that's where they get a lot of the hype because they played a lot of snaps. Robert Beal was in rotation, so there's a difference. But if you want to compare the production between those two guys, I'm going to show you comparisons of why it's definitely debatable. Like, when it comes down to the pros, they might be far better than what people indicate them to be. So when you want to look at a guy like Nolan Smith, he was playing more snaps, of course. They were splitting reps. But the difference is Nolan Smith played a lot of reps. But the production of what they drafted this guy to be, the Eagles drafted him because of his speed, but we don't know if he's just an edge rusher. He can play anywhere. See, that's light for a DN. But you want to compare production, right? Compare to the production between those two players. See, we're comparing between Beal. And the difference is, the difference of the production is Nolan Smith had the similar production of Robert Beal from this year. And then the previous year, he had 3.5 sacks, 55 tackles was his season best. So 3.5 sacks was his best compared to what you looked at Robert Beal. But sure, he might have a sack or two more because he played more reps than Robert Beal. But Robert Beal played on rotation, and he led the team in sacks in 2021. You want to look at the difference between Trayvon Walker? I'll give you comparisons of that. There's a bit of comparisons there. I don't see how people are just hyping these guys, but I'm going to give you some comparisons. Like Trayvon Walker, this guy was the number 1 draft pick. They didn't draft him because of his talent. They drafted him because he was fast. But Jaguars think they got something with Trayvon Walker. Want to see the difference? I'm going to compare the difference of what you saw. So we're going to go on to the similarities. Trying to find where it's college under here. See, Trayvon Walker played in Jacksonville, but this was last season with the Jaguars. I'm looking for the one where you can switch up stats. Okay. Pretty sure I can find the one where he's with the Georgia Bulldogs. Okay, let's look at Georgia Bulldogs. Okay, this is where Trayvon Walker was considered he was a number 1 draft pick. But look at the difference. Okay, so 3 years in Georgia. This is what they were hyping him to be. His season best was 6 sacks, and that's what got him to be the number 1 pick. 37 tackles. But are we kind of like making a debate here? Like, okay, Trayvon Walker through 3 years in Georgia, he averages like 3 sacks in Georgia. Yeah, Robert Beal has 10.5 sacks career total. That's not too bad. And then you got the other guy, Nolan Smith. His season best was 3.5 sacks. Maybe there's something what the Niners like about Robert Beal. So maybe there's something there. I mean, you look at the Georgia players, everybody's just talking about their D tackles more than their edge rushers. There hasn't been a really good edge rusher from Georgia for quite a while. Like, if I'm going by talent, I'm being honest with y'all. There's nothing that kind of catches my attention with all these players. Like, that's a difference. Yep. Carter and Smith to a team that already is playing players way too much. Going to be fun to negotiate with all those superstars. But good luck with that Eagles team. Well, the difference is, dude, they're all going by hype. Jalen Carter didn't have a big production in sacks, but he was a good run stopper. Jordan Davis didn't have big stat numbers. I mean, Wyatt, what's his name? That guy from the Packers, he didn't do squat. But Robert Beal on a stacked Georgia Bulldog team, bro, he had 6.5 sacks. That's far of a different comparison. Production-wise, bro. So the Jaguars picked this Trayvon Walker kid who's actually got the similar traits but played a lot of snaps. There's a difference. He played more snaps. Nolan Smith played a lot of snaps too, but they're hyping him just exactly the same way they did with Trayvon Walker. So there's no love for Robert Beal because he's on the rotation and he's just – but if you look at the production, can you imagine what he can do if he played more snaps? He probably would have more than 6.5 sacks, I can guarantee you that. But he was definitely out of place. There is a good chance he could have left Georgia and played elsewhere and build up his draft stock, but I guess he's happy where he's at. But when you compare the difference, it's not even that close, man. I know it sounds like a reach for me to just say that Robert Beal's better than those other 2 defenders. I'm just saying by stats, production difference. He could be better at the next level because Chris Cassera can coach up a guy like him. So before some of you guys get on my case about this, I'm not saying he's going to be better than those other guys. I'm just saying the production seems like a solid argument. In 2021, he led the Georgia Bulldogs in sacks. And who was on that team? Trayvon Walker, the number 1 pick in the draft, had 6 sacks. Who had more? Robert Beal by half a sack. So 6.5 sacks. So he was actually the better Georgia defender, and he's actually faster than this dude. But Trayvon Walker is a 270 guy, so I can see why he was so intriguing. Who wants to pass on a guy who's about over 270 but runs a 4.5? Dude, there's some upside. There's potential there. But who wants to pass on a 200, almost a 240-pound defender who runs a 4.3? I don't blame the Eagles because he played a lot of snaps. You got Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and what's his name? Devontae Wyatt. Dude, that team was stacked. Robert Beal was just a guy off the rotation, but this guy could be good at the next level if you develop him right. Chris Kasarik knows how to develop. If anybody can bring the best out of any other player, it's Chris Kasarik. Yeah, there's a reason the worst team we're designing to pick first. Money to keep teams competitive. Unfortunately, we live in a reward now culture. Trades ruins the equations. Yep, that's facts. But the Niners built through the draft, and we find guys better in the later rounds. So that's definitely a reasonable argument. I mean, we can do some breakdowns on these films, but I don't know about that. We'll definitely just compare the difference. So to be fair, that's probably the only reason why Trayvon Walker got to be the high pick, because he played a lot of snaps. His season best was just 37 tackles and 6 sacks. That's your number one pick in the draft? Jacksonville picked him because they picked him because of his upside and his speed. And he's a specimen. I can see why. But then the Eagles at the number 30 pick, they picked Nolan Smith because of the speed, a 4.3 speed, under 240. This guy runs quick as lightning. Production. But his season best is 3.5 sacks. Trayvon Walker, 6 sacks. Robert Beal, despite in the rotation, 6.5 sacks. Can you imagine what this guy can do on our defense? It's going to be a lot more than 6.5 sacks. I can guarantee you that. That might be the sleeper of the draft, is him. They're overlooking him because Georgia was very crowded. And Kirby Smart even put a good influence on the Niners front office. This could be the reason why we got him. This could be one of the rare reasons why we got him. Watch, you'll see. The influence on the draft, it played a huge factor. Played a really huge factor. So we're going to check out the Georgia Bulldogs illustrated thing. So Georgia head coach Kirby Smart's influenced the Niners into selecting linebacker Robert Beal Jr. The Georgia football program is coming off yet another successful weekend at the draft. After 10 players were selected, 3 weeks were taken. And head coach Kirby Smart has seemingly built in NFL draft pool pipelines and anthems. And NFL organizations are quickly taking notice of it. And one of the players that was drafted this year was linebacker Robert Beal. The former Georgia linebacker had a solid showing at the combine as he was clocked 4.48 speed. And while measuring at 6'4", 247, the Niners took notice of that and was a major reason why they used that. Though Beal's traits weren't. He was a role player, if I'm being honest. He was more a role player. So this was said by Jennifer Chan, but Coach Smart also played a role in helping lead the Niners in the drafting former Bulldog after the discussions with General Manager John Lynch. So Beal's really get that, and you really rely on relationships in this thing. And Kirby Smart's been good to us. He's got a lot of good players and said someone's going to get a really good gift and talented player if they just let this guy go hunt the quarterbacks and set the edges. When he said that, that's exactly what we do. So this was the flyer. This was intriguing. That's intriguing to look into. That's intriguing. Oh, shoot. Let me try it again. Let me just show you guys the article quickly. My bad. I forgot to put that shit. My bad. I want to have you guys look into it, okay? So we're going to share it. I'm going to show you guys the article just by the NFL. So this kid was influenced. So look here. This is what I was looking at, and I forgot to put it in here. See, this is intriguing. So Kirby Smart played a factor into John Lynch picking this guy. That speaks volume. And he even said, just let him just go after the quarterback. Set the edges. That's what he's good at. So there's something there. There is something there. Talent you can't coach, man. That's just something you have or you don't. So that's something there. And before we end this, we can check out some highlight quickly. I don't think the copyright claim is going to affect much of my channel. I don't think I lose anything out of it. But we're going to look at a couple of highlights because that's all we got is the highlights. So I'm going to do some highlights quickly, and then that's it. Hopefully I don't get a flag or nothing, which I don't think I will. Probably copyright claim.
We're going to play bowling ball against Go King, go forward.
Sets the edge. Makes a tackle. Okay, but this is right. This is when the ball was bad snap, but he's quick off the edge. Really quick off the edge. Right there.
Like someone's surprised. Watch the left edge of this offensive line.
He's too quick, but yet he needs work.
Has no chance.
Watch this. This is by the quarterback Richardson, I believe. Look at it. He stops the running back. Yeah, with all that crowded defense. Good run stopper, too. That's what I like.
One of the jack linebackers just going to come from this backside squeezes, but then just uses his acceleration.
Rolling down under 2 minutes to go.
It goes over the top for a huge touchdown.
Let's see.
I think the receiving position has to continue to evolve.
Ooh, he's getting him. Finishes the play. Jalen Carter didn't even finish the play. But Beal finishes the play. Man, Jalen Carter almost – oh, but he – yep, okay. Yeah, seems about comparable. Hey, what's going on, guys? What's up, Big Mac? What's up, Cook Sports? How's it going? Long time no see. Just about to finish this part, but yeah. Just had to compare productions between these two DNs that everybody was hyping about. Like Trayvon Walker was last year's hype. He was a guy that had 6 sacks and was the #1 pick. Nolan Smith, the only thing that's getting him a lot of hype is his 40 time. That's it. I don't think there's nothing special, but maybe they can develop him into something good. But I think with the Niners track record, we do have a great history of developing talent-wise, yeah. Yep, I think I'm about done. And then 3 o'clock, I got a guess. What a Ravens fan, we're going to discuss that. And then Josh Harper will be at 5 p.m. And then I don't think I'll do any other streams until maybe Monday because I have to get into my new job and get all situated with all the stuff. So as soon as I start to figure out what my schedules are going to look like, I'll probably have a better idea of what to expect. But as of right now, pretty much stuck with what I got right now. So we'll figure out something. But thank you guys for tuning in. I just wanted to compare the difference of these players and see how you guys feel. This is more to be optimistic about. This is a guy we can take a flyer on. So Robert Beal was overlooked because he wasn't playing a lot of snaps. He was on the rotation. He had 10 career starts. But you look at the difference. Trayvon Walker played a lot of games, but you look at his production getting to the quarterback. It's not too far off from Robert Beal. So if Robert Beal would have played more snaps, maybe his production would have been a lot better than what people would have indicated it to be. But it's kind of similar. Production similar, but just rotation-wise. Like his limited playing time, there's potential. There's something we can mold this kid into. So either by Monday I'll do a stream or whatever happens. It depends on my schedule. So if something changes, if I have to work different schedules, I'll let you guys know. But I'm probably going to have to start adjusting to my new job by tomorrow. So I'll have a better idea of if I'm going to still do my streams on a daily or not. So I'll keep you guys posted. But I'll see you guys later on with Darvin Ravens I'm going to have on. And then Josh Harper at 5 p.m. And then we're good to go. And then after that, I probably won't be able to do any streams for a little while. So just understand me. It's my job situation. I have to figure out the schedules first. But thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, go Niners.